cheers to another episode of the Wine Notes Podcast. I'm your guide, AJ Winezettel, on this journey of stories showcasing the people behind the wonderful world of wine, where we dive into conversations ranging from terroir, viticulture, to favorite music, superpowers, and more. Please enjoy this episode of the Wine Notes Podcast. Kenny, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time, and it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Hey Jay, it's wonderful to be here with you today, virtually. So glad we have this time, and thanks for putting this together.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I know, I think the first time we chatted was the summer of 2020, and I was putting together my sparkling report. And since then, I've been kind of following your journey, and finally, last year, 2022, during Thanksgiving weekend, we got to meet face to face. I was like, wow, finally.
I know. I forgot when that sparkling report, you were right in that. I was like, oh man, that's going to be on our radar for the future, because we definitely want to be a part of that lineup. It was quite a producer list that you procured, so definitely want to be a part of that community. And that was our vision from the get-go, and I'm glad we were able to meet in person in November 22 now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's crazy that it took 2 years for us to actually, see one another. But, it's been great to keep in contact a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Yep.
So starting off, I'm probably going to mispronounce your winery's name, but that I want to know exactly how to pronounce it correctly. So is it Arabilis?
Yep. Oh, you nailed it. So not many people do, but we answer to a lot of it. But yeah, Arabilis is how we've been pronunciating it, and it's from the Latin word arabilis, and so that's the Latin meaning farmable, right, or arable land. And that's our aspiration in terms of our brand name and kind of the ethos that we're going after. And we've been pretty fortunate enough to get into some vineyard sourcing. We're in negociant right now, but the vineyard sources that we're doing are pretty top notch as far as, in the Eola Hills, and our, and what we're seeing. And, there are definitely more and more, but our aspiration is to be a grower producer of traditional method sparkling wine. And so our brand name is Arabilis for a reason, and hopefully one day we can get there.
Yeah, no, that would be absolutely amazing. Is there any sort of story or anything behind of like how you came upon that name or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so my wife Allison and I, it's just the two of us, and it's been a dream of ours to start a project like this, and we've been looking for a while in terms of where we could do sparkling wine. I mean, she studied for her PhD red wine finish, and that's why we started with Pinot Noir in 2018 and 2019. It's kind of the framework. It was, you can't not join the Willamette Valley without a Pinot Noir, so it made sense strategically. And then we were like, man, okay, we need to start thinking about sparkling, because the sooner we start making it, the sooner we can reach our customers like you. So the Willamette Valley made sense, but it wasn't the first place we were looking. We were originally looking in the Columbia Gorge, because, you have Chris and Steven from Analemma. There was a ton of momentum from High U. You've got the Syncline that's doing some really great sparkling out there in Lyle, and some even just like pushing the eastern edge of where you can grow Pinot Noir and Chardonnay in the gorge. So that's where we were thinking. And so what we realized quickly, though, is that there are very few sites planted. There's definitely more coming, right. But for where we needed to be, it was part of that. So I don't know if I really answered your question about the name, but for me, I guess, looking at that, we were working with a brand team, Gatto Riviera, down in Napa, and they were just helping us with the design, and we came to them with a couple ideas, and so did they. And they're just, started out, it was Tim Gatto and Raquel Gatto, husband and wife team, and then now with Antonio Riviera, the other part. They were, helping us make sure that we were following kind of like the brand DNA within that. So we came in with Arabilis, and obviously there were others. I can definitely show you our list
Right.
over a glass of wine sometime, and you can probably see why we didn't go with some of those.
Right. No, I was just curious. Um, I read somewhere that you've tasted had your first sip of Chardonnay at 12, and like right from there you were like, "Yep, that's what I want to do." I need some more detail on that. I mean, holy cow, 12 years old.
Yeah, that's so it's a memory that's stuck in my mind forever, and that kind of was the inception point of where we got to today and kind of my studies and everything. So my parents had really good friends from California, and they moved to Cincinnati. We got really close, and then when they moved back to California, they actually were in Napa, downtown Napa, and so we did the kind of California wine tour in Napa and Sonoma and up in the Redwoods in Northern California. So some pretty cool sites. And one place that we were in was the mountains of kind of mountain territory above Napa and harvest time. And I'm kind of explaining my whole like memory, right? So it's
Right.
been that drastic. It was foggy. You had the forklifts beeping everywhere. It was chaos. They're stacking bins, and the bins were too tall for me to even see what was in them. So like I just
Right.
remember looking up, and it's just this like gray sky, and because of the fog socked in and just not
Right.
knowing what I'm reaching into, and I see like this just golden cluster, and I'm like, whoa, you know. And the winemakers like taste them, like go for it. Clearly like first thing is like instant burst of flavor and sweetness, and then you hit the scene, you're like, okay, these aren't table grapes for one, but these are amazing. So what
Right.
is this? And we went down in the cellar and sniffed the barrels that were fermenting of those same grapes, everything. I'm like, God, this is unbelievable. Like what? It just felt so cool. It was secluded. It was tight. Like I don't know why, just as a kid, because I
Well,
like
no,
tight
it's
spaces and crawling in tunnels and stuff, right?
right.
But yeah, I just had this, I don't know, ethereal feeling that stuck with me, and spawned this idea of like, how can I make this a profession? But at the time, like, I didn't know what that was. I loved being outside and dabbled around a lot of internships that were unrelated to wine and food, and kind of where my passions lied from that point to get me here.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's pretty amazing. It's it, in reading that and just seeing that your trajectory was kind of already set at 12, and Allison also went to college for wine. It just fascinates me that the both of you were like, yeah, I'm going to go to college for wine and study wine. Uh, what is Allison's backstory on how, like, what got her into wine?
Yeah, so hers is interesting because she was studying, she went to Santa Clara for undergrad, studied biology, and she is way smarter than I am. So like she tested in and got into optometry school, but she wasn't going to start until like the year after. So what did she do? She's like, okay, I'm going to go work, stay in Lodi, and just hang out with my friends after college for half a semester, and then the following spring semester, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to WSU and test into food science. So she was in the food science program
Right.
of WSU studying Syrah, and it like instantly was like, okay, this is what I got to do. I mean, she loved the wine scene. She loved, the beauty, being outside again, like being part of this like community. And she saw that down in Lodi.
Right.
but when she got to WSU, she's like, wow, I didn't know I could make like a serious career out of this. Um, and so, yeah, she voided her ticket to optometry school after that initial semester at WSU and said, like, they're paying me to go to school to research wine, and I don't have a $300,000 debt ticket after
Yeah.
optometry school. So, like, this is a no-brainer.
Right. No, that is a
So,
no-brainer. Yeah.
yeah, she's definitely the business savvy of the bunch here.
Well, you got to have equal parts, most definitely.
Yeah.
And wasn't she? She was your tour guide or something, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's the kind of other part of this. I signed that solid line right then and there when I saw her. But jokes aside, yeah, I was on a tour to WSU when it was her. This is her first spring semester, right? So
Right.
she's just like living the life, and it's winter time, like it's freezing. Because like I thought coming from Kentucky, I'm like, oh, I'm going to the mountains, like this would be awesome. I'm going to the West Coast. Well, what they didn't tell me was when you come over the I-90 pass and you just start seeing like Othello, I-26, you're in the middle of wheat country, so it's beautiful. So like there was so much beauty in that I was like, okay, no mountains, but where am I? What is this place? And to have this
Right.
kind of like utopian small town college, it just felt so familial to me. And
Right.
yeah, so she was my tour guide. She did a great job, sold me right then and there.
Well, that's awesome. So, at what point did y'all realize that both of you were studying wine? And is there a moment?
Love story.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, sure, a love story. Let's yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but yeah, so we were studying for our prelims, PhD prelims, and so that's part of the journey as far as the WSU program. You start out as a master's student, even though like you want to be a PhD, you have to test in. So I I never read more textbooks front cover to cover than that period of time, and Allison was, what are you doing? Like, let's be more efficient here. So like we formed kind of a group together and just kind of got to know each other pretty well during that time. So being study buddies, and um, yeah, it was nice because on the weekends we would just take breaks and go on road trips. And one of our buddies was he calls himself the third wheel, but he wasn't. He more of an instigator on this, but he'd be like on a Saturday morning, let's go to Glacier Park, and Alice and I'd be like, okay, as long as we're back by Monday to study again, like keep us on track, we'll do it. So
Right.
like we just went to Glacier, or we went to Walla Walla for a weekend on spring release, and it was just like it kept it light and hearted during this like intense time. And so we were always friends for Alice and I for 2 years before prelims, but that kind of sealed the deal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's great. It's you just never know what the world is going to give to you, and poof, and now here you are, like starting your own brand, and taking new ventures. So you mentioned earlier that Allison was doing studying Syrah, and I think the impact of tannin and alcohol content, and then your dissertation was on sparkling. Why did you
Right.
choose sparkling?
So at the time when I started, and this was, kind of going into grad school, you have to do a literature review and, scour all of the citations and kind of understand. And I know I wanted to do white wine and sparkling. So I had a sense, but when I started searching for sparkling wine in the literature, there was very little, especially in the US. Most of it was in Spain, or there were some in France. So Gerard Laguerre-Belair, he was a really instrumental researcher at the time, taking like high speed like 1 to 25,000 frame per second photos of sparkling wine bubbles and
Right.
flyers like in the glass, just really trying to understand the physics and the kinetics of traditional method sparkling wine. So I was like, whoa, this is super, super interesting. And WSU had a sports research lab that had the exact camera.
Oh,
And so like the idea started is, okay, well, how, you don't want to duplicate research. That's ridiculous. Like nobody, that's the point. You get published for original. So as I was looking, I'm like, well, nobody's fundamentally, like, we're a food science program. Like, let's look at sugar, like sugar chemistry, and the 2 points of where sugar is added in traditional method sparkling wine, the terroir and the dosage, both like critical steps in terms of like you got to ferment in the same bottle that it's sold in, and then you're impacting the final profile of the wine. It seemed like nobody was really doing this. So we approached it in a little bit of a different way. Like, okay, we're profiling a wine that's terroir. We influence the terroir with different sugar levels because at the time pet nats were really growing in popularity in Washington and Oregon. And the person who was the entity that was funding this research was St. Michel. So like a lot of this was, commercial scale. How do we understand the mouthfeel of carbonation? Because that was another aspect that I wasn't seeing from a sensory standpoint. How do we define terms that, one, we can quantify, but also from a consumer standpoint, present them in a consumer language that's acceptable and they can relate to that to understand liking. Right. Not surprising. People expect sparkling wine to be at a really high carbonation level, but there's a willingness to buy or like a wine that's at a pet nat level. So it started like, okay, there's an entry point here that we're seeing. And this was back in 2014, I think, was our initial research on terroir. And then at the time, I was disgorging a lot of wine, treatment wine, for this dosage study. So we were looking at different sugar types and different sugar levels.
right.
The thing about research wine is you're pushing the limits of what a commercial wine really is. So like I had a demi-sec level. I don't know how many people in the world have actually had demi-sec sparkling wine. They're great.
Right.
They're interesting. For this research, we were doing that for a reason, because we wanted to see, like, does that sugar impact the headspace, like the polarity? We're changing the volatile matrix and everything from a chemistry standpoint, density standpoint. So does it have a high enough impact? To the untrained nose, and even trained nose, no. To a GC, gas chromatogram, excuse me, maybe it's trends. So it was a cool study because like we were fundamentally looking at sugar types. One, because like there's cost efficiencies there. Fruit sugar is way cheaper than cane sugar. Maybe there's potential there. It's not traditional, but rectified grape must concentrate is still being used in champagne today. So there are levers people are pulling at the dose level.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I can only imagine how fun that whole research study project was. I know, when I was talking, to some other people who have done sparkling in Oregon, they're playing with different types of sugar, and yeah, most people are like, yeah, it's just, household kind of sugar.
So what's interesting is we did a honey trial last year. I'm being like, it's cool because there's so much honey. I mean, I want to knock on Andy's door and be like, hey, Andy Lytle, can I get some honey? Or so, some of these local bees, on our property that we rent, we had apiary that put their hives on the property, and so it's like all the blackberry bushes, and it's some of the best honey I've ever had. So I've been asking, like, let's put some away and have that special as kind of local source, the place that we're growing the grapes from, because it's literally right over the hill to Pearlstad and some of these other sources that we're getting grapes from. So it'd be kind of interesting. And the bees are going that far. But Clement's Lalarge was, I think, more I'm sure people were doing this before, but she was the one that commercialized it in Champagne.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. I mean, to have to have just everything locally sourced. I mean, that'd be really amazing.
That's a vision. If we can get there, and that was so cool. And we actually just went to Champagne in January, and the economy there is so small. I mean, there are big entities, right? You have the big Grand Marques, you have huge suppliers there, but it's so hyper focused on that industry that it was so, like, it felt so relatable here to the Willamette Valley. Obviously, we're maturing in sparkling wine, and clearly, like, Andrew Davis has spurred that momentum in terms of all of the growers that are here. So, giving them a infrastructure, right, to make sparkling wine. So one day we'll get there.
Yeah, no, and you're talking about your trip to Champagne. I think you also mentioned how open and candid everybody was. I mean, I'm curious of, like, some of the advice that you got, and also comparing that to the Oregon wine community. I mean, were there any similarities?
100%. Like, it felt mirror image almost. There's definitely a younger, it's the next generation that are taking over the domains. So
right.
Honestly, even this morning, I just got back, responses from Cedric Musi and Flavian Nowak, because we've been writing since that trip, and they've been unbelievably friendly and open, and want to share some of that knowledge. And so I mean, these guys are Instagram pen pals. I just literally cold called them and wrote them in my botched French and Google translated French to them, and they were amazing. And so Guillaume Doyard and Benoit Dehu are two of the other ones that we went to, and Arthur Lamarndier, like, they're all like 28 years old to 50, like young family estates, and it was so cool to see, and honored that they spent the time to sit down with us in the middle of January, because it definitely was a down period for sure. All the Grand Marques were closed, and it felt slow. Like, everybody was pruning. You'd wake up in the morning and it felt like like just this medieval show that you're watching. Like, birds are flying, the abbey's ringing the bells, all the white vans are pulling up into the vineyard, and the guys are lighting up their cigarette, going out and pruning 5 rows, and that's their day. And it was so casual. Like, I didn't want to leave. I think the one thing I wish I would have done was bring my work computer and just kept going there. Keep working and stay there for a month, because and so these guys, as far as you asked about recommendation, we brought wine with us. We brought 2 cases of wine. We brought our Pearlstad 2021 Eola Chard, and we also brought our 2020 Columbia Gorge sparkling wine. Just that's the one that we're planning to release first before our other 2020. Right. And so, disgorged it with them. I also left some, like, Cedric wasn't there. It was just his staff, but left some with Cedric, and he wrote to me last night and, said he tasted it, and it was, already, like, it's tight in some regard, but he's like, that's a good thing, being reductive in a way that when you disgorge it, you can pull some levers with the dosage, but they were impressed. So it was nerve-wracking to say the least, one, disgorging in front of these guys, because this is what they do from the crib, basically, for lake. So we're just doing it all of Olay on the fly. And the one that kind of holy shit moment, pardon my French.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine.
The disgorge it for Guillaume Douillard, and he's like, can I bring this to dinner tonight? And we're like, yeah, sure, like, sure. It's like, we disgorge it for you. And he's like, well, we have our grower meeting, and it's just like a bunch of friends of us, and I would love to just blind them and just see what they think. Like, I won't tell them who and where, and I'll just play it off like it's mine.
Right.
And he sends a text that night that says, like, uber impressed, super positive. Here's who tasted it. And it was Rudolph Peters, Laurent Villemar, Gervais, like, Lecapart, all these people that I'm like, holy shit, Allison, do you realize, like, what just, and I was like, I'm, like, already, like, I'm shaking now, because I can't believe that happened. And I'm like, well, there's excitement. It's not a surprise that Rudolph Peters, he was looking in Oregon before he started that Racine's project down in Santa Rita Hills, and so that, like, there's interest, and I think it's, you're seeing it now, and I was just glad we showed up well.
Yeah, no, I mean, with your background, and I mean, that's absolutely amazing and great that it showed so well. And yeah, I would be completely blown away and nerved. My nerves would definitely be on edge. And
it was cool because we got to taste a lot of different stages of the wine when we were there. Like, they were just finishing, either they just finished primary, or they were just finished secondary, or going through secondary. So I think one of the videos that, like, our kind of synopsis video on Instagram was in Benoit's cellar, and he has all these different sized barrels and stuff, and does primarily in oak, purely in oak. I think he only has 3 stainless steel tanks for reserve, and even that doesn't do too much. But he was just like, oh, come, like, sniff this one. Oh, it's too tight. Like, this one's starting to open up. We'll, dose tirage that one first, or whatever. And it was just so awesome to see that passion, and, like, even his passion for biodynamic. Like, all these guys are doing bio for the most part, or organic. Either they're claiming it or not. But there's definitely some energy in those wines. Some of the best experiences I've had, like, sensations in the mouth, like, from a texture standpoint, and that I've ever had. So definitely our suitcases were full when we were returning.
Well, I can imagine. I might have to take your advice and bring my work laptop and stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, let me know when you go, because we're going back. Like,
right.
It was a cool spot.
Yeah, no, that would be. I've had this interesting question that's just been percolating around in my head about the corks for sparkling.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can help me out and give me a little bit of education here, because I don't know. But it seems like the corks from Champagne, the bottom of the cork seems to be super, small, thin. And then, like, the sparkling we get here from Oregon, you pop it and it's like a big old mushroom or something. Yeah. Can you provide any insight on that?
Yeah. So most of the producers in Champagne are using the double disc, and so are we. And I can pull one if you want me to, but because I have some here. But there's clearly more innovations with Diam and Midic, like with the agglomerated full, top to bottom.
Right.
The reason why you're getting the mushroom is just like the age of the cork. So how long that cork has been in that bottle, because it breaks down. There's
Okay.
there's
Right.
structures. It's cellulose at the end of the day. It's just structure from the bark of the oak tree. So over time, it's breaking down a little bit and compressing. So a new sparkling wine that's just been disgorged and corked on that, it's going to be fresh and springy. And it honestly, if you pulled that out, it would probably look brand new, because if you put that cork in the bottle a month ago, it's still springy enough to bounce back. But the longer it sits in the bottle, aged sparkling wine, which I highly recommend, it'll keep that like real tight, thin structure.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
No, that's cool, and it sounds like I'm not aging my sparkling long enough. Is what it sounds like to me.
You're enjoying yourself. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes. No, I'm definitely holding on to as many bottles as I can here and there. I can't wait to see what some Oregon sparkling is like in 20 years. It's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so, you're talking about your work laptop, and so you and Allison are both in UX, user experience. And I understand it from like Allison's standpoint, user experience, because I'm also in tech, right? And I understand, creating that user experience, but you're more in the grocery side of things. And, in high school, I was in grocery as well. I would love to know, what is UX in grocery? What is that like?
Yeah, it's so I'm a UX researcher within the grocery, but it's specifically on customer experience, and it might sound weird because a lot of users can vary. For me, it's the user of the app for the retailer, which is Kroger.
Okay.
And so that within the e-com space, you can either use the app or, even shopping in store. Like in-store customer experience is really key, because, all the way down to product freshness, right? Like, when does the Kroger associate pick the banana for you in your pickup order, your delivery order, or even yourself? Like, if you're going in store, you're probably looking for, the yellow bananas, or it depends when you're using it, right?
Right.
Like, are you making banana bread that night, or are you making banana pancakes tomorrow or something like? So it just depends where that entry point is, and I say entry point is as far as like the shopping trip. So I'm trying not to be so jargony for your listeners, but the biggest goal for user researchers is to empathize with the user and their needs. And that need can vary, with your accessibility or your physical differences or your modality or need state, like of the time in the moment. And so that's the primary goal is, as a researcher, is empathizing with them to make a product or service that addresses that need or answers that need. So I'm just trying to think of like one instance, the pandemic really accelerated a lot of these product features, especially with pickup and delivery.
Right.
And the benefit there was time saving. For the working parent or the working individual, you don't really have to think about it. It's just like, I can go on my app, select bananas, milk, eggs, bread, peanut butter, and it'll be delivered by the end of the night. So here where we are in the Yola Hills, it's ironic because I don't get delivery. We're so far out of the radius that it's serviceable, but we do pick up a lot, and it's saved a lot of time because it's great. We're just out and about. I can say like, oh, I'm driving past Wilsonville. Like, let's just pick it up then, or Newburgh, and then we'll
Right.
get home. But yeah, really fortunate because it's been fun to work in that space and see kind of the behind the scenes aspect of that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, so I work in the banking industry, and I've worked with Kroger, and, there's been some fun conversations, I'll say.
I can imagine so.
Yes.
Kroger personal finance is a big one, I'm sure, but yeah, for another
Yeah.
time.
Yes. So you have a lot of things going on. I mean, you have, a day gig, you're out, making your wine, you're out going to Champagne. And yet, like when I met you, in November, I was like, holy cow, you're like stacked and built and like ready to, I mean, how in the heck do you get time to work out and stay so fit?
Yeah, that's a funny thing because I do value taking care of myself and my body, and it's just one of the things that I prioritize. And even if it's just 20 minutes, like that's enough to get a really good hard workout in. And um, on lunch, we'll walk down to the mailbox and back. It's 800 feet elevation change, so it's enough, about a mile and a half, but enough to just like get the blood moving.
Yeah.
And we're sitting at a desk all the time looking at a screen, and it's just like I gotta look away, just and take my
Right.
eyes off the screen for a second. And so that's just something that I've always been passionate about. And my dad has been kind of the spurt of that, and we used to do little competitions even when I was away at college, like, where are you at these days? How many push-ups did you do? Like, we would do for January even, like, all right, let's do a push-up challenge every day and see where we can go. But yeah, I played sports in college. I was on the varsity tennis team, and so that was one of the things that I did for a couple years on before I just said, you know what, I'd rather do this on my own and play for fun. But always doing some skiing. We were skiing last week, just trying to stay active as much as we can.
Yeah. No, that's good. And go ahead.
I was just gonna say I gotta make it to my 50th harvest if I can. So I gotta see that
Yeah.
far.
Yeah. No, that would be great. I know, not too long ago I mentioned, that I purchased a new gravel bike, and did I read that correctly, that like you're into biking and stuff as well?
Yeah, so my first bike that I bought was a cyclocross bike, and the reason that I bought it was for college, but also going out to WSU. A lot of the roads were gravel out there, outside across the wheat field. So I'm like, I need something that's stout. My frame's not going to bend, but still fun to rip.
Right.
And so bought that bike, and I still have it. Like, I love that thing. And Allison got a similar cyclocross bike. She doesn't do as much, but just more for pleasure riding, but enough to, like, if you hit a bump or a rock, like, you don't want that thing to kick out or bend on you. So that was the
Right.
best thing about a cyclocross bike, is they're built a little bit more sturdily. And I did a lot more mountain biking. So single track on Moscow Mountain when I was in grad school. It was so close, and that whole thing, it's almost like Bachelor. Like, that whole thing was devoted to mountain biking in the summer,
Right.
and the mountain bikes have right away. So if you're hiking, you have to like be listening for the bikes, because we would haul down
Right.
so it was fun. There are moose up there. I never saw one, thankfully, but I remember when my bike got shipped because it was disassembled. I took it to a shop. I was like, "Hey, where do we go?" they're like, oh, it's just Moscow Mountain, like 10 minutes from here, but just watch out for moose. And I remember looking at my parents, and I'm like, they're joking, and they're like, no, we're serious. Like,
Oh,
I'm like, oh my God. Like, they're like, yeah, you either bomb it or jump off the bike and like run behind a tree. So
wow.
yeah, I loved it. It's fun to be in, like
Oh, yeah.
road biking and such. There's a lot of or like surprising areas that you stumble on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's a blast. And I'm looking forward to getting out and, checking out some Forest Service roads this summer and just seeing where the adventure goes.
how far are you usually riding? Like,
On the road bike, I have a little route that's about 30 miles, with, 1,500, 2,000, feet of elevation gain. And
that's not nothing.
it's not nothing, but get this. So I'm sure you know Dan from Corollary, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yep. Good friends.
He made a remark on that same post, and he's like, well, I hope you're going to start doing some elevation. And then you have to look at some of his rides. I mean, he'll do Warden Hill and Chehalem Mountains, and he's doing like 4,000 or 5,000 feet of climbing. And I'm like,
Yep.
that's intimidating. I want to go riding with him, but like, I'm a little intimidated about that.
Yeah, that is a little bit intimidating. I think I'd be bringing up the rear on you guys.
I don't know. I might be walking or something a little bit.
Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned that, you came from Kentucky, and I had to do some research. I came across a term I had never heard before, and it relates to bourbon, and it's mash bills.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I was wondering if you were going to say like some Kentuckyism here, because we hear a lot of those random ones here and there.
yes, well, I grew up in Tennessee, so, it's, yes.
Yep.
But and understanding mash bills, it sounded, so what a mash bill is, because I had to look it up, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the different like percentages of corn and whatnot that's inside the actual bourbon.
Yep.
And one night you're out with friends and you're blind tasting bourbon, and you're just calling out all these mash bills. I'm just curious, how did you figure that? I mean, was it just natural, or was it practice, or what?
Yeah. So the lead up to that night was my going away night for Beam Suntory. So I did right out of grad school. Actually, it was middle of grad school. An internship in their R&D department, and that team in the spirits industry, like, they work hard, they party harder, like, and so we, over the course, like, my job, my first week there, my boss was like, hey, Kenny, like, I want to show you something, you need to familiarize yourself. But she opened this door, and it was just like a wall. I mean, it felt like the whiskey library.
Oh,
You
wow.
walked in, and it was just all of Beam Suntory's products, competitors, everything. And she's like, I want you to taste these. And, so the course of the summer, 4 months, I just said, okay, I'm going to taste gin. Like, let's just pull 10 gins and taste these. And so one of the projects that I was on was developing a brown spirits, like, wheel or reference set for Beam Suntory, among some other projects. Like, I did Pinnacle Vodka and some QC stuff, quality control, and but you're tasting all of these bourbons every week, and so what the gold standard are, what the mash bills are, and they would just say, like, this is mash number 4, mash number 3, like, whatever. And so we all had drinks this night. It was great. Went out the bar, and the whiskeys that are in Beam's portfolio go from like Old Crow, which is like you get Old Crow as a shot next to your Yellow Jacket Coors Banquet, and that is what that is often ordered together in Kentucky. And so, but it also goes up to Booker. Booker or Little Booker is the top of the line stuff that they're getting from the center cut. And so after we had this night, we go to colleague's house, and Allison's with me, and I'm already like, I should not be continuing the night. And they had like 10 whiskeys in front. I'm like, all right. So I started tasting one. I'm like, Maker's Mark. And I said Maker's 46. I'm like, Old Granddad. And then I started getting into like the treatments. I'm like, oh, this tastes like mash number 4. This tastes like mash number 4 with some like French oak. Like it had like this vanilla, kind of like coconut-ish finish to it. And they all look at each other and like, what the hell? They're like, why? You've been just like holding out this whole time, and so I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I need to go home. So like I'm glad that was the end of my internship experience, to end on like a good note. But also I saw like, I'm glad I'm not. I mean, respect that industry. It could have put a hurt on me.
I could only imagine. I mean, it's there's been many nights for myself where like it's been a hurting on me with just wine. I can't even imagine with with bourbon and whiskey. Just oof.
You definitely have to respect it. And it's so hard tasting White Dog like too straight off the still as it's running, because huge respect for those guys that are doing that to make those the cuts. So they're doing it by density with just like a hydrometer to see where things are, and they're smelling it and such. But at that scale, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
I can only imagine.
I got a fun stat, about bourbon. I think at the time, it might have been last year, 2 years ago, there were 2 barrels of bourbon for every person in the state of Kentucky. And Kentucky's real small, but I was like, man, there's a lot of bourbon being produced.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a lot of bourbon. So, we talked about Dan a little bit. Do you have any stories of the Oregon wine community in general that just stand out to you, of how collaborative and like everybody just kind of helps out one another?
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked this question again, because I didn't touch on it in the champagne topic we were talking about. But the Willamette Valley has been immensely supportive, like incredibly supportive. And 2 stories. Like the first story I will say is related to our 2021 vintage. Mm-hmm. And I had called my sparkling picks. This is a Friday, I think. I was like, I called my picks. They're ready. I had 6 tons of fruit coming, and which for us that's a lot. Like we're small still, and fire up the press at Bjornson, and the press blows, like the vacuum pump blows, and I was just like, oh shit, like I thought I broke something, like something went wrong, and it was just an old press, and it blew, and I was just like, oh, like I was freaking out.
Right.
Because like the pick crew's done, the grapes are ready, like we're go time. So I sent out a frantic email, and I wrote to John Groshaw, to Ma, who else did I write to? I mean, those guys were the 2 that responded like instantly and said, bring your grapes. Like we got you. And I was just so like, I I mean, emotionally, it like hit me so hard because I was just like, wow, this is unbelievable. Like, I don't know any other place that would just let you pull up. Not like I didn't know John at the time. Like, I knew of John, but
Right.
I never met him in person. And so to meet on such circumstances, and same with Tama, like, um, I was just like, wow, I love this place. You know, it just further uh, affirmed, or confirmed to us why we're here. You know, and Tama for mentioned in that email, like all of us are benefiting. You know, all ships are rising with the tide. And so for that kind of like response,
Right.
I loved it. You know, and so that sticks with me to this day in terms of us still being successful, is because of other people's success. And the other people, this other story that I want to mention is Dan and Jean. Like they're doing incredible things. And I was intimidated, and Allison too. Like we were both intimidated to meet them for the first time. And so we really hit it off. And they've become really close friends to us and mentors almost. Like we've got a camaraderie. And a couple weeks ago, we were tasting base wines together with Dave and Lois Cho as well, and
Yeah.
it was really cool to share those insights together, and um, to even just like share brunch afterwards. Like we just kicked the tires and opened up some great wine and shared some good stories. So yeah, excited to be in cahoots with those guys.
Yeah. No, I saw the pictures of that. That looked pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're doing some cool stuff, and there's some exciting things coming from them.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
So currently you have a Pinot and a Chard, right?
For sparkling or like
no, well,
still?
just right now. Right now you
Yep.
have, a still Chardonnay and a still Pinot Noir.
Yep.
And then in the fall of 2023, you're going to come out with your first sparkling.
Yep, we are. Yeah, so we're still working out the details, but we're shooting for October 1st, the sparkling release. And we'll do a release party. So it should be a good time. And we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Finally to get our sparkling out. And I disgorged some a couple weeks ago, and it's showing pretty well. And this was the one I shared with the guys from the vignerons from Champagne, and we're gonna hold some back to do extended tirage just to see how it evolves. But for all the wines, like I'm trying to disgorge quarterly just to know where they are. It's fun
Right.
to pop some bottles. So
Of course. Of
yeah.
course. Is a long term to be 100% sparkling?
We will be 95%.
Okay.
The reason why I say 95 is that I do have a kind of passion for Chardonnay, still Chard, and we have a really good source of Pinot Noir from Sojo.
Right.
So we entered into a long-term contract with them, Denny, and believe in that site. And there's some good producers out there that it's for stills Pinot Noir, like that's an amazing site. And so much like the grower champagnes do, like the small grower producers, we also want to emulate that model as far as be sparkling forward, but still have small, super small production as far as still wines. And that's kind of analogous to their Coteau Champenois still wines that they have, the Rouge or the Blanc,
Right.
that they're producing now because climate change is enabling that. So
Wow. Yeah. No, that is awesome.
yeah.
Well, I don't have any more questions. Is there something that you would like to bring up, or did I miss anything?
I mean, I would just say thank you again, for this opportunity. It's been fun to chat, and I mean, I think we need to meet up and share some sparkling together at some point. And
I
yeah, I think it'd be a fun time to have that conversation again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be great.
Thank you, AJ, for this.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate all your time, and I can't wait till October, and be able to at your release party.
No, excited to see you out there.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, AJ. Take care.